Hello, welcome to Flow and Restore Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. Grab a couple of yoga blocks, a strap, a blanket, and a pillow, and any other props that you might need for the second portion of this practice, which is restorative and yin. But we'll begin sitting down in a comfortable position of your choice. So we talked about a few weeks ago the definition of mindfulness from Jon Kabat-Zinn as paying attention on purpose in the present moment without judgment, without judging your experience. Pema Chödrön, mindfulness teacher, wrote a book called How to Meditate, a practical guide to making friends with your mind. Highly recommend this book, whether or not you already meditate. And she says, when we refrain from pushing against our experiences, we move away from the labels of yes and no, good and bad, acceptable and non-acceptable. This is a very important point. This is what allows us to become fully engaged in life. You can't leave out what you label bad and still expect to feel the full range of what you might label good. In other words, if you wall yourself off from some experiences, you will inevitably be building walls against what might be good. Meditation training reminds us to always come back to our direct experience, just as it is. So we're talking, of course, in the context of emotions and thoughts and whatever life brings to us, and practicing a sense of equanimity, this inner state of balance where we can befriend the whole spectrum of what's happening without having to jump into a label, which can narrow our ability to actually find the opportunity within an obstacle. Let's find a comfortable seat, root down through your left and right sitting bones, lift up through the center of your spine. Rest your hands in a way that you can begin to pay more attention to your physical body. Let's start there, the outermost layer. As you feel into whatever sensations are happening right now, let's bring that non-judgment mind to play. Just opening up your attention without having to label any of the experience as good or bad. Now bring your awareness to the breath just as it is. And notice if you even change the way you're breathing because you're paying attention to it. Let that go. Just let it be. Feel into if your breath might be shallow, might be regular or irregular or deep. And let that inform you of how you're feeling energetically, as well as mentally and emotionally. Sensing the full range of emotions you might be experiencing right now, just as it is. Can we bring this equanimous mind into our physical yoga practice as we move through the different postures and as we hold some of them? Notice what comes up in your sensations, in your breath, in your thoughts. And can you bring this caring curiosity to that as well? Let's start to deepen the breath, inhaling through your nose. Exhaling through your mouth. Inhaling a little deeper. And exhaling just as slowly. Now call to mind an intention you may have for your practice today. What's one thing you'd like to put your attention on and expand, maybe understand more or bring into your feeling experience? And now call to mind someone that you care about or something that's important to you. Consider dedicating this practice to them. moving beyond our individual selves and thinking of the bigger picture that we're a part of. Let's join the palms to meet at the heart, preparing to chant together 3 ohms, a way of setting the tone for a meditative state of mind, a way of creating resonance as a community as we share practice, and a way of deepening the breath with awareness. Listen to a pause after each ohm. Let's let in a deep breath. Start to breathe, if you can, with the lips closed. Inhaling deeply as though your lungs were a bellow or an accordion, fully filling with air. And still with the lips closed, exhaling just as deeply, feeling your diaphragm at use as you expand your lungs and belly and hollow the belly. Equal in breath, equal out breath in depth. We're going to start the practice of Bhastrika Pranayama, or bellows breath, a way to bring clarity to the mind, energize your body and mind, and help us to focus. So let's start bending the elbows apart at the height of your relaxed shoulders, making fists with your hands. Sit up tall, and as you breathe in, straighten your arms overhead, spread your fingers wide. And as you breathe out, bend the elbows apart and refist your hands. Start to find a brisk pace of breath that you can continue on your own. Deep inhales, deep exhales, all with the lips closed. And once you get a steady rhythm going, count another 40 cycles of breath. You might even focus on 40 exhales before you relax. Finish your own count of 40 breaths and then breathe naturally. Be still for a moment and notice how you feel from Bhastrika Pranayama. So that's also helping to cleanse the lungs, that breathing technique. Now let's move into Ujjayi Pranayama, which will take us into our vinyasa flow. Closing the lips, sustain your breath equally in and out through your nose, while softly narrowing or constricting the back of your throat so that you can create a gentle whispering sound to your breath. Listen to the qualities of your breath here. Regulate it so it's smooth, balanced, easy, not forced. A gentle sound that you could hear, and maybe if someone was right next to you leaning in, they could hear. So keep that sound rhythm going, and let's make our way onto child's pose. So bring your Feet together to touch, either knees together or apart. Sink your pelvis down to your heels and actively stretch your arms forward. Separate your hands apart, shoulders distance. And as you straighten the arms, roll your outer upper arms or triceps towards the ground so that you spread your shoulder blades wider across your back ribs. As you lengthen the crown of your head forward, press your shoulder blades down your back, lengthening your neck. Press your hips further back towards your feet. And listen in as you rest your forehead on the ground for 3 more slow cycles of breath. You might consider this posture, balasana, a resting position. If you ever need to take rest, feel free to come back down to it. And if it's not a resting position for you, choose a different way to rest whenever you need. So honor your practice today, how it needs to be. Separating your feet now hips width apart and the knees hips width apart. On your next inhale, glide forward onto hands and knees and coil your chest up into cow pose, pressing the shoulders down. As you exhale, lift the navel, drop your head, round your back into cat pose. 4 more times to the breath. Inhale slowly, glide your chest through your upper arms. Peel your shoulders back, lift your tailbone. Exhale, press down with your hands, contract your belly. Tuck your tailbone under, lower your head. And just like that, take a few more cycles of cat-cow pose, or in Sanskrit, Vidalasana. We did have a request from our live community practicing with us right now to focus on some lower back relief. So that's going to look like quite a bit of spinal twists, forward folds, and as you're forward folding, you might even give yourself some lower back ease by bending the knees. Now at the end of your next exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips high and back, entering Adho Mukha Svanasana, or downward facing dog. Spend the first few breaths slowly pedaling your feet in place. Keeping your breath gently audible and smooth. You might also swivel your hips left and right as you pedal your feet, like you're dancing the twist, helping to open up the sides of your waist, your outer hips. As you plant your palms flat on the earth, you might also softly shake your head no a few times, nod your head a few times, helping to bring ease to your neck. Just let the head fall. Like we did in child's pose, spread the shoulder blades apart by wrapping your outer upper arms towards the floor, then lengthen your neck by lifting the shoulder blades back. Start to become still for a few more breaths in downward facing dog. Feel free to bend your knees any amount to help you lift your hips to their highest point and fully stretch your spine as though you have a flat back. Now engaging your belly towards your back. On your next inhale, glide forward to the top of a push-up, plank pose. We'll pause there for a few breaths. Stack your shoulders right over your wrists and gaze on the ground just ahead of your thumbs. Either lower your knees for added support, knees right under hips, or firm your inner heels back, keeping the legs straight and activating your quadriceps. Lift the sides of your waist, activating your abdomen, and keep a long spine, shoulders away from the neck. On your next exhale, keep your arms straight and glide forward as far as you can before bending your elbows back so that they hug your side ribs. Pause halfway down in Chaturanga Dandasana, then lower all the way to the floor. Slide your forearms to the floor, coming into Sphinx pose, a gentle back bend. Land your elbows right under your shoulders, palms face down. Actively stretch your legs back, lengthening your tailbone towards the space between your knees. Firm the tops of your feet into the ground so much that your kneecaps actually don't touch the floor. While your pubic bone stays on the ground, roll the fronts of your shoulders back, press them down, and broaden your collarbones for 2 more breaths. Gazing just ahead of your thumbs on the floor as you lengthen the back of your neck. Now lower your right ear to the ground, slide your right arm straight out to the right. We're gonna add a little yin posture here to prepare the shoulders for cobra. Place the left hand on the floor beside your left shoulder to push the ground away as you roll over onto your right hip. We'll pause here for 5 deep breaths. Keep listening. Slide the right shoulder blade down your back. And you might even step the left foot behind you on the floor to go further if needed. Last 2 breaths. As you exhale, roll onto your belly, lower your left ear to the ground. Slide your left arm out to the left, palm face down. Press the ground away with your right hand beside your right shoulder and begin to roll over onto your left hip. Send the left shoulder blade down your back ribs. Another 4 deep breaths. Maybe step the right foot on the floor behind you. Slowly come onto your belly and place your fingertips alongside your shoulders outside of your mat, so your elbows are bent apart. Stretch the legs, press the tops of your feet down, pubic bone stays on the ground. Inhale, coil your chest up, drop your shoulders back, look on the floor, head cobra. Exhale, gently lower. Place the hands alongside your floating ribs. Hug your elbows to your sides. Inhale, Bhujangasana, cobra. Exhale, lower, tuck your toes, and press up to plank, downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look past your hands. Empty your breath, then walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat, forward folds. Press blocks or the ground. Inhale, lengthen the crown of your head forward. Exhale, fold. Root down through your feet. Inhale, circle your arms apart. Rise, watch your palms meet overhead. Exhale, trace your hands in prayer down the center of your body. Let's flow to the breath. 3 rounds of sun salutation A. Inhale, circle your arms, join the palms at the top. Exhale, forward folds. Press blocks or the floor. Inhale, lengthen forward. Walk to plank pose. Continue to exhale as you glide forward. Hug your elbows to your ribs. Cobra or upward facing dog. Breathe in to lift your chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pause for 3 deep breaths. This time, let your body be still. Steady your eyes on one spot. When you finish the 3rd out breath, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. Once there, press the ground or blocks. Inhale, raise your heart forward. Exhale, fold. Press to your feet. Inhale, raise your arms, rise up. Exhale, hands to the heart. 2 more rounds. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Walk back or float back to Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Bhujangasana or Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Lifting your hips. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Pause. Be still for 3 breaths. After the 3rd exhale, walk or float to the top. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway rise. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, root down to rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale to the heart, Padasana. 1 more Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, sweep your arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen forward. Walk or float back. Continue on your own through your vinyasa. Pause for 3 breaths in downward dog. This time, press down through both palms and inhale, raise your right leg behind you. As you exhale, bend that knee towards your nose and round forward to plank. Lift the belly high, shoulders right over the wrists. Step your right foot beside your right thumb. Stay high on the ball of your back foot. Crescent lunge. Inhale, rise up to stand. And let's take a few breaths here. You might bend the back knee as you draw the tailbone down and lift your frontal hip bones. Squaring both hips to face forward, bend your front knee right on top of the heel. Maybe straighten the back leg. Maybe seal the palms together. 3 more breaths. Use your right hand to cup the top of your right thigh. Pressing it down, press your left inner heel back. Try to level the height of your 2 hips. Inhale, stretch your spine forward. Exhale, lower the left hand right under your left shoulder on a block or the floor. Raise your right arm up and twist to your right for a few breaths. As you breathe in, firm your inner left heel back and stretch your spine down the midline of your mat. As you breathe out, firm your outer hips towards your midline, keeping your pelvis still. Continue to rotate your chest to the right. Let's add an extension of the right arm. Rotate your right outer upper arm to face the right wall. So the pinky finger points at the right wall, then sweep the right arm overhead, just the amount where you don't begin to shrug your shoulders. Spinning the chest up for 3 more breaths. So this is a variation of revolved side angle pose, or in Sanskrit, Harita Parishvakonasana. Now look at your right foot. You can either lower your 2 hands to the floor first or backstroke the right arm and rise to crescent lunge as we transition to warrior 2. Spin your back heel down, align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot. Turn your chest completely to face the left wall and open your arms wide, stacking your wrists above your ankles. Now land your gaze on one spot, just past your right hand. Bending your right knee, right on top of your right heel. Rotate your right outer hip beneath your body. Pressing your outer left foot deeply into the earth. Firm the top of your left thigh bone back. Stack your shoulders right above your hips and press them down. Lift to your crown. Last 3 breaths here in Virabhadrasana 2. Let's prepare for triangle pose. Straighten your right leg and press the crease of your right hip towards your back wall while you reach your right hand towards your front wall. Place the right hand on the right side of your right calf on a block or the floor directly beneath your shoulders stacked, raising the left arm high. Now keep rolling your right outer hip under your body so that you can track the middle of your right knee in line with your middle right toe. Rotate your chest slightly to face the sky and land your eyes on one spot again, maybe up past your left thumb. Send your shoulder blades down your back ribs. Keep lengthening your spine, crown towards the front wall. Utthita Trikonasana. 3 more breaths. Now look at your right foot and frame it with your hands on blocks or the ground. Step your right foot to the right so that your feet are now hips width apart. Step your left foot forward 5 to 6 inches into a shorter stance. Let's prepare for another twist, revolved triangle pose. Now keep your left hand right under your left shoulder on the floor or on a block. Press down firmly through both feet, activating your quadriceps. Use your right thumb and press the front of your right hip crease back, leveling your 2 hips. As you breathe in, stretch the top of your head forward, stretching your spine. Shoulders down the back. Exhale without turning your pelvis. Turn your chest to face the right wall. Raise your right arm up And you're in it for 4 more breaths, exploring the depth of this spinal twist. Parita Trikonasana. Now, if your balance feels pretty stable and you want to go further, you could place your left hand on the right side of your front foot. Firming your outer hips towards each other, as though you could balance a book across the lowest portion of your lower back. 2 more breaths. Now look at your right foot. Frame it with your hands on blocks or the floor. Inhale, lift your chest towards the front wall, seal the belly in, and fold forward. Pyramid pose. Parsvottanasana. If your right hamstring feels pretty open, you might go deeper by lifting the ball of your right foot as you flex the foot, energetically dragging the heel back. Press the right foot down. Inhale, look forward. Step back to plank. Exhale into your vinyasa or cat-cow. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Ease it out through your nose. Inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale, step the foot beside your left thumb. Round forward, contract the belly. Stay on the ball of your right foot. Inhale, rise up to crescent lunge. Bend your back knee. Direct your tailbone down. Lift your frontal hip bones. Contain your center. Square your hips evenly to face forward. And bend your front knee right on top of the heel. Then maybe you straighten the back leg. Maybe you seal the palms. Let's take another 3 breaths here. Use your left hand to cup the top of your left thigh, rooting it down as you firm your inner right heel back. Steady your hips squared, and inhale, stretch your spine forward. Place your right hand down directly under the right shoulder. Use a block if that helps. Exhale, twist to the left and raise your left arm. Keep your 2 hips leveled. Inhale, stretch your spine further forward. Draw the shoulder blades down your back. Exhale, keep turning your chest. And now let's rotate the left tricep to face the left wall. Sweep your left arm overhead towards the front wall. Turn your chest towards the sky, another 3 breaths. Look at your left foot. You can either lower both hands to the floor to prepare for Warrior 2 or rise up into Crescent Lunge again and turn right from there. Spinning your right heel down, align your left heel to intersect the arch of your right foot. Turn your chest to face the right wall as you open your arms wide, stacking your wrists above your ankles. Steady your eyes just past your left hand. As you bend your left knee right on top of the heel, press the outside edge of your right foot deeply into the earth. As you rotate your left outer hip under your body, firm the top of your right thigh bone back. Notice that these are counter actions to create balance. 3 more breaths. Straighten your left leg for triangles. Slide your hips towards the rear wall. Reach your left hand towards the front wall and place it on the left side of your left calf, maybe on a block. Raising your right arm, stack your shoulders and wrists. Keep tacking the crease of your left hip towards the right outer foot as you spiral your chest to face the sky, landing your gaze, your drishti on one spot. Let's tune in for 3 more breaths in Trikonasana. Now look at your left foot and frame it with hands on blocks or the floor. Step your left foot to the left, a few more inches, and step your right foot forward 5 to 6 inches, shorter stance. Grounding both heels with legs straight, turn your hips to face forward and place the right hand on the floor or a block directly under the right shoulder. Use your left thumb to hook the front of your left outer hip crease back, leveling your hips. Inhale, stretch the top of your head forward. Exhale, again, twist to the left. Raise your left arm up. Revolved triangle pose. Few more breaths. Now, if you feel pretty stable and you want to take the twist further, place your right hand on the left side of your front foot. Parita Trikonasana. Inhale, look down at your left foot. Frame your foot with your hands. Lift the chest, firm in the belly, and exhale, fold. Pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. With the option of going deeper into the left hamstring by lifting the ball of your left flexed foot. Energetically drag that heel back. Inhale, press the left foot down, look forward. This time, step the right foot, hips width from the left. Keep your arms overhead as you begin to rise up to Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, trace your thumbs down to your heart center. Bring your feet together, and before we move into our yin portion, we're just gonna get a little bit of fire going. Feet together, knees together, arms forward, chair pose. Begin to lower onto your sitting bones. Catch the backs of your thighs, kick your feet forward. Boat pose, Navasana. Optional to extend the arms forward and or straighten the legs. Stay here for the next 5 breaths or move in and out of half boat. If so, inhale, lower halfway. Contract your belly. Exhale, lift again. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift, 4. Inhale, lower. Move from the belly. Exhale, 3. Inhale, lower. Ardha Navasana. Exhale, 2. Inhale, lower. Exhale. Here we go. Bend your knees apart. Clasp your big toes with your index and middle fingers. Sit up on your sitting bones, really tall. And take a few more breaths to balance here. You could straddle the legs apart. You could play peaceful bow and arrow, like you're shooting love into the world, bending the right knee to the outside of the right shoulder, then switching sides. Maybe bringing the soles of your feet together, where we'll eventually land in bound angle pose, sitting down, knees apart. Once here, take a block or 2, and we'll enter a restorative posture. Slide your feet forward so you have a diamond shape between the legs, and place 1 or 2 blocks slanted. If it helps to get a little more length in your lower spine, sit up on a folded blanket and roll your shoulders back and down. Lift up through the front and back of your spine, and then begin to bow from your hips, slowly, breath by breath. Adjust the height of the blocks so they can catch your forehead. You might even place them on the ground like this in front of your toes. So while the back will naturally round a little bit, try not to tense up the shoulders where it closes off the neck and the passageway for your breath. We'll be here for the next 20 breaths. So start counting as you slow your breath down. Long, easeful breaths. As you listen to the sound of your breathing, refine that quality of balance, breathing in as slowly as you breathe out. Let your attention on the subtleties, the details of the breath release you from any need to fall into the storytelling mind or the judgment mind. Just have your direct experience with your body and breath here. Take your time counting 20 deep breaths in this posture. When you do finish, take your time transitioning out of this posture by pressing your fingertips into the floor, firming your belly towards your back, rooting your pelvis downward, and lifting from your chest to slowly rise up. When you're upright again, stretch your legs forward. Place your hands alongside your hips. Point and flex your toes for a few breaths. Just some easy movement here as you sense whatever sensations are surfacing now. Noticing any feedback from your body. And staying aware of the breath. Now we're going to prepare for half cow face pose, which is also a helpful lower back and hamstring stretch if you get that pinched sciatic nerve issue. So grab a strap, and if you found it useful to sit up on a folded blanket earlier, stay sitting on one. Step the ball of your left foot into the strap. Then turn out your right thigh and cross it over the left thigh as much as you can, so that perhaps you stack your knees. Root down through your left and right sitting bones and hold the strap with both hands. Flex your left foot by curling the toes back towards your shin while the ball of the foot presses against the strap. So have a taut grip of the strap with enough slack in it so that you're able to roll your shoulders back and down and sit up a little taller for a few more breaths. Hug in the belly so there's a little engagement of the abdomen to support lengthening the lower spine. Imagine you're trying to maintain a flat back. In fact, a little bit of a lift in the chest, so there's a tiny bit of cobra pose here. Shoulders roll back. Then begin to bow forward from your hips, keeping your throat open, counting 15 breaths. As you breathe in, press your pelvis down further and stretch your lower spine out of the pelvis. Lengthen to your crown. As you breathe out, hug in your belly. Reach your chest forward and maybe fold a little bit more. Keeping your shoulders relaxed, you might bend the elbows apart. Now focus on the sound of your breath. Gently audible, smooth whisper, balanced in and out. Ardha Gomukhasana, which means half cow face pose. Firming in the belly when you're ready to come out. Press your pelvis down, lead from your chest. Inhaling to slowly lift your spine and remove the strap. Relax your left toes. Straighten your right leg forward and step the ball of your right foot into the strap. Turn out your left thigh and hug it over the right thigh as much as possible. Stacking the knees maybe. Root your sitting bones down and hold the strap with both hands as you flex the right foot and press into the strap with it. Give yourself enough slack in the strap to roll your shoulders behind the ears and down, lifting up as you root down. Firm in the belly, and as you're ready, use the exhales to fold little by little from your hips, keeping your throat open. Use the inhales to find a little more length in the spine. 15 breaths. Take your time finishing at your own pace, 15 breaths. Before you firm the pelvis down, firm the belly in, and lead with your chest to slowly rise. Putting the strap aside, come back to stick pose, Dandasana. As you place your hands alongside your hips, circle your feet a few times in both directions. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let this be a mindful pause where you pay attention to anything that's come up for you during or after that posture. Let's make our way back to Sphinx pose. Place your pubic bone on the floor with your legs straight back. Place your elbows on the floor, right under the shoulders. Slide your knees as close together as you can in Sphinx pose. We're going to stretch into the quadriceps, and you might also feel release in the hip flexors. Cross your left forearm in front of your chest on your mat. Bend your right knee. Backstroke your right arm and catch hold of the big toe side of your right ankle or foot, not the pinky toe side, so that we're also opening the front of your right shoulder. Have your knees no wider apart than your hips distance. Ground your two frontal hip bones. With your left forearm pressing the floor, turn your chest completely to face forward. Relax both shoulders back. Now for another 5 to 7 breaths, bring your right heel slightly to the outside of your right hip. Keep pressing your pubic bone into the ground. Notice what sensations may be coming up for you or changing. Notice without judging them, good or bad. Just be in the direct experience of what is. All of the experience, simply information. When you finish 5 to 7 deep breaths here, release your right leg straight, come back to Sphinx pose, and slide your knees closer together. When you're ready, cross your right forearm on the ground in front of your chest and bend your left knee. Backstroke your left arm, catch the big toe side of your ankle or foot. Separate your knees no wider apart than hips distance. Ground both of your frontal hip bones. Turn your chest forward and relax your shoulders down. Then for 5 to 7 more breaths, bring your left heel slightly to the outside of your left hip, rounding your pubic bone. When you finish 5 to 7 slow breaths, release your left leg straight. One more time, come back to Sphinx. Let's take 2 lion's breaths here. Clearing exhales through the mouth with mouth wide open, tongue out, releasing any sound. So inhale fully. You could even roar it out if you like. One more deep inhale. Please slide back to child's pose. Sink your hips down to your feet. Stretch your arms forward. Take 5 breaths here. Long, even breaths through the nose again. Ujjayi pranayama. Keep your arms extended forward and walk your hands to the right, reaching outside of your mat if you can. Stretching the left side of your torso. Breathe into it. Walk your hands forward through center and reach over to the left. Breathe into the right side of your torso. Walk your hands back alongside your knees and inhale to roll your spine upright to sit. Bring your legs in front of you and come to sit at the center of your mat, then lie down. Bend your knees towards your chest. Let's prepare for a supine spinal twist. Open your arms apart on the ground like a T. Then wrap your right leg over your left leg, like eagle pose. Slide your hips closer to the right edge of your mat. Lift your feet and grounding your right shoulder, slowly twist to your left side. Now only let your knees fall as far as the right shoulder stays on the ground. So it might be useful to place a pillow or whatever props you have on the outside of your left leg to catch the leg and prevent the right shoulder from rising. Let's take another 7 breaths on this side of the twist. You might place your left hand on your right outer hip just to give a little more juice into the lower back stretch. Press away the right outer hip so it tilts gently towards the front edge of your mat. When you're ready, come onto your back, uncross the legs, wrap the left leg over the right. Slide your pelvis closer to the left edge of your mat. Keep your left shoulder grounded and lift your feet. Begin to twist to your right. Again, maybe catch your legs with a pillow or whatever props you have to avoid the left shoulder rising. And to add more juice into the lower back stretch, place your right palm on your left outer hip. And especially as you exhale, press away the left outer hip so that it tilts slightly towards the front edge of your mat. Stay here another 5 breaths. When you're ready, come onto your back, bend your knees apart into happy baby pose. Ground your tailbone and shoulders, parallel your feet, and let the soles of your feet face the ceiling. Breath by breath, bend your knees downward, closer to the earth, outside of your ribs. Keep pressing your tailbone into the floor. You might stay here or straddle your legs straight apart, perhaps clasping your big toes. Last few breaths before Shavasana. Give yourself a few breaths to transition into your final resting pose. If you need a little more relief for your lower back, you might place a pillow across the mat just beneath the backs of your knees as you extend the legs forward and splay your feet apart, wider than your hips distance. You might place the weight of a folded blanket on top of your pelvis and belly, helping to ground yourself. You might cover your eyes with a towel or your strap, helping to turn your attention inward and truly relax into stillness. Make any last loving adjustments to your body so that you can be still with ease, with attentiveness. And closing your eyes, release control of your breath. Shavasana. As you keep your eyes closed, slowly begin to move your fingers, rubbing the thumbs across the fingertips. Ease into circling your hands, wiggling your toes, stretching your feet. Slowly waking up your body. You might gradually turn over to your right side and rest your head on your arm, pausing to observe what's here now in body or mind. Taking your time, press the ground away as you rise. Find a way to sit for our guided few minutes of meditation, about 10 minutes. As we talked about in the start, Pema Chodron nudged us to practice non-judgment as we pay attention to what arises in the present moment. One of the mindfulness attitudes is acceptance. You don't have to like or agree with the experience, but practicing acceptance enables you to have a greater scope, the bigger picture of what's happening, and not be limited to your own personal biases. This is a meditation practice to cultivate acceptance. So anchor your sitting bones, lift tall to your spine, rest your hands in a mudra or way that helps you to pay attention. I like to rest my palms face up, thumb tips touching, or I find it helpful to sit in this way. Close your eyes or steady a soft gaze on one spot that's not distracting at about eye level. Let the breath flow naturally, and let's begin. To help you anchor your attention with an attitude of acceptance, whenever your focus may wander, I invite you to mentally recite this mantra. Yes, this too. Yes, this too. It's a confirmation that while you don't have to like what is, you can hold space for it. It's a practice of befriending your experience. As you allow whatever thought or feeling to naturally arise, or whatever stimuli activates you, simply acknowledge whatever it is by mentally stating, yes, this too. Now let's sit silently for 2 minutes, just noticing what you notice and practicing that mental mantra, yes, this too. Yes, this too. Notice when you may have an aversion to what comes up, like a sound that sounds abrasive, or if a neutral thought arises, or a thought that stirs up a feeling of joy. With a friendly inner smile to yourself for noticing, re-anchor into an attitude of acceptance by repeating that mantra. Yes, this too. Let's come back to the practice another 2 minutes. In this meditation, you've practiced allowing whatever impermanent thought or feeling or other stimuli to arise, and then let them sail along the vast ocean of your consciousness. Consider integrating this mantra as you enter the rest of your evening, as you might notice yourself reacting internally to what comes up. Something someone said, an event that was unpredictable, a change of plans, whatever it may be. Notice when you might be resisting internally the experience that you're having. And then come back to this practice of mindful acceptance. Remember, you don't have to agree with what's happening, but you can let go of the resistance within yourself. Create an inner smile and mentally say, yes, this too. As the poet Rumi reminds us, you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. And as the ocean, you have the capacity to see beyond each passing wave. Let's join the palms to meet at the heart, closing this practice together. Feel into what you might be grateful for now in this moment, so that as you activate the energy of gratitude within you, which is so powerful, you reconnect to abundance, which is part of your true nature. So from a place of abundance, not lack, remind yourself of the intention you chose to focus on in this practice. Let it pervade the way you breathe, the way you hold yourself up. Continue to bring it into existence even after this yoga practice. Then remember that person or thing that you dedicated this practice to, and take a moment to see them, enjoy seeing them, experiencing benefit. And now let's close with one chant of Om. Inhale deeply. Bow in towards your heart space, acknowledging the light within. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.